Hello, foodie friends. Welcome to another episode of Cast Iron Conversations with your host, Chef Pat Lee. I really can't believe we're on episode 5 already. I mean, 5 episodes. It took me about like 3 or 4 months before I got to my 5th recipe when I started content creation. I'm blown away. But I just wanted to say this to say thank you to every single one of you who supported my path as a creative. I'm excited that I get to have this forum and this platform just to do what I love, and that's create conversations and moments centered around food. And with that being said, I feel like it's the perfect way to transition into introducing my next guest on the podcast. I'll go on record in saying that she is legitimately my favorite vlogger and food reviewer in the game. Her sense of humor mixed with some really good recommendations and her bringing a light to a lot of the great spots in the DMV has made her pretty iconic in our area and on social media. On her social media handles, her name is TheSkinniFoodWhore. Please, foodie friends, help me welcome to the podcast, Crystal.
I love that intro. I'm your favorite.
Yeah, I mean, I love your sense of humor. I love how you can slip an innocent joke in one video and then an innuendo in another and just make it sound so natural without, putting too much emphasis on it. So it's great to see the originality when it comes to food reviewing and just bringing such a positive light on the DMV area.
I appreciate that. See, hearing stuff like that reminds me that people are really watching. Because I know people are really watching it, but just to hear somebody say that, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm doing something right. Okay, good. That's that motivation.
Yeah, keep at it. So just to the audience who may or may not really be familiar with you, would you mind just introducing yourself to the podcast and just giving us a little bit of your background?
Yes. So, I am Crystal, the Skinny Food Whore. So I have been running my Instagram page for a little bit over 4 years now. I am you want to put influencer. I know some people don't like that word too much, but reality is I am a food influencer, but I'm also a content creator. So I do shoot content for local restaurants, and I also will highlight local restaurants on my Instagram page as well. So kind of hit two sides when it comes to the food service industry on that point. But also when it comes to the food service industry in general, I worked and I still am working in the food service industry, and I am over 20 years in that. I know I don't look like I'm even 22 years old, but I'm not. I'm older than that. But yeah, over 20 years in the food service industry, 4 years as the food influencer, and I am now a content creator full time as of last December. Yeah, December. So very, very recent with the full time content creation.
And let's touch up on that. We have a lot we definitely are going to talk about today, but let's touch up on that because as most people in my audience know, this is actually going to be my last month working in corporate America. I've been trying to balance content creation and working, but my passion is in content creation, and I really see this is the opportunity to take. How did that work out for you? Being that you worked with other people for so long, and now you get to do what you love.
Yeah, it was definitely it was actually not that bad of a transition like I thought. So I did have a full-time job. I was a district manager of a local bakery. So with that, you can imagine how many hours I'm working. I'm doing, on a good week, at least 50 hours a week, but on average, maybe 60 a week, plus doing the content creation on my page. So as far as my Instagram page I would say it's pretty successful. Brands will reach out to me and say, hey, we want you to come out. But I just didn't have the availability for it. It would usually be maybe once or twice a month that I would just so happen to be oh, let me take off on a Monday, but then I'll work on Sunday or something like that, so that I can attend or be invited to these restaurants to do a collaboration with them. So yeah, I just kind of noticed that there was very often and so many businesses that were reaching out to me, but I didn't have the time for them. as much as I wanted to do, I just did not have the time. So I realized that I had to just kind of take a step back on my full-time job. So I started out just taking a step down. So I went from district manager to assistant district manager. Then eventually went just down to, I think I had like an unofficial title because I knew I had to do everything in the company at that point. So I would just kind of like bounce around from store to store to where I was just working 4 days a week. So I did the 4 days a week. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I have an extra day to do content creation. That started picking up more and more traction with that. And I'm like, okay, I really have to scale back on my salaried position. Like I have to. Like if I'm going to take on additional work, I have to cut back work somewhere else. So I finally realized, like, you know what? I got to do it. Like if I'm going to get that extra work, I got to let go of something else. So that's how that happened. So I would say overall, it was about a 4-month transition from district manager to just working maybe like 10 hours a week with my previous job, where now I'm doing about 30, 40 hours as a content creator.
And do you notice any difference in, I guess, your work-life balance and just how you view your day versus working, well, how you view your day working for somebody else versus working for yourself?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So, yes, while I am working for somebody else, I still feel like I'm working for myself because I get to plan. Well, we still will coordinate, right? Mm-hmm. I get to plan when I visit them. I can make it based off of my availability. Like, hey, okay, you want me to come in next week? Okay, I can do Tuesday between these hours. I can do Thursday between these hours. Like, it's based off of my availability. Yes, I'm working for them, but it's still equally beneficial for both of us. And I enjoy doing it. So it doesn't feel like I'm working. Like, it does not. I forget, like, sometimes that it is my full-time job now. I had to be like, yeah, you guys, I'm going home to do some work. And they're like, what do you mean do work? You do videos? I'm like, well, yeah, I'm getting paid for it, so it is work.
It definitely is work. And I feel like a lot of people don't understand just what goes into content creation. It's not just filming videos. It's editing videos. It's making sure you get the right lighting, the right angles. Like, I can imagine for yourself as a food reviewer, if you're trying to attract people to come to the restaurants, you have to make sure you get like the best quality shots for your footage.
Mm-hmm.
What do you tell people when they say comments like, what work are you doing?
I would say luckily we are in the day and age where people understand that technology is what drives everything. And while, social media is still a new thing, it's been around for a while, right? But it's us being so hooked on social media, it's technically still a new thing. And it's slowly transitioning into social media marketing being like the main form of marketing now. So people are still learning like, oh, okay, yeah, that is work. Yeah. Content creator really is a job. People don't see it like that. But when I explain to them like, hey, like, think about it. When you're like, oh, I'm interested in this restaurant. Let me look them up. You don't go into Google no more. Like, you might go into Google to look at like the address or to look at the menu to see like the menu description. But other than that, you're gonna go onto social media to be like, oh, let me look what it look like on the video. Mm-hmm. Let me look at their tag pictures and see what somebody else said when they went there. Like, we're not going onto websites to learn about their dishes. So yeah, social media is definitely a marketing tool now. So once I explain that to some people that don't really understand it, they're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. You're basically a marketer. And I'm like, yeah, so I kind of try to say like, oh, I'm a marketer person, and it just doesn't sound as crazy, So I'll just say, oh, I do social media. And they're like, oh, okay, so you just on your phone all day? Like, technically, I'm not just sitting I got my phone all day. I'm not just sitting here. Like, nah, I'm got my charge all the time. Like, I'm on my phone maybe like 5 hours a day doing something. But yeah, it's work.
It definitely is work. It is work. And that's actually a good segue to a topic that we were talking about speaking on this podcast. As you said, social media is a fantastic tool for businesses, small and large alike, to showcase their brands. And a lot of influencers have, had collaborations with restaurants and some of these bigger brands over the course of the last, let's say, decade or so. But there's been a lot of talks, amongst us as creators where we feel like some of us, we have the understanding and knowledge that when you make these videos for these brands, you're supposed to get compensated for it. And then there's the other ones who don't seem to know that because, they're still fairly new. It's like, what advice did you have for some of these newer content creators who are looking to negotiate with some of these brands and can't seem to connect with them to get compensated for it properly?
Yeah, because even for me starting out, when I didn't get my first like paid collab until maybe at like year 2. I was like a year and a half in is when I realized like, oh, this is kind of like a job. People get paid for this. I didn't know. I just thought it was post and just have fun. But at that time, I also genuinely loved promoting these restaurants anyway. So first step is wanting to promote the business without even thinking about the compensation. Because if you really want to promote the business, you'll promote them and you're paying out of pocket. So I will say that's the first step because I feel like some people, sorry, that was my cat. Because I feel like some people are in it just for the money, if that makes sense. But you really got to like your job. Like content creation is a job. You got to want to really be motivated to like, let me put this video together because I want people to see this. I'm doing this for this business. I want this business to succeed. I gotta get this video perfect for them. So yeah, I just want to put that out there. Some people want to do, the food influencer thing, but they're doing it for the wrong reason. They're just in it for like the free food, right? So to piggyback off of that, some people are in it to promote a business, but don't realize that they could get paid for that. My reply to that is remember that you are technically helping them with advertisement. They're reaching out to you because they need an ad. They are not going to, that business, restaurant, product, whoever it is, they're not going to reach out to Fox 5 or NBC or any other network and reach out to them and say, hey, we want to make a commercial. Can we go into your network for free? They're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. They're going to be like, okay, what's the fee to put an ad onto your website or even a newspaper? You got to pay for an ad in a newspaper. They don't just put stuff for free. Maybe some stuff might be free, but genuinely speaking, putting an ad in anything, you have to pay for it. So, when it comes to that, it's up to the creator what they should be charging, but every creator should be charging something. Like they shouldn't be, nobody should be working for free. Like you don't go to your full-time job and then don't get a paycheck. And it's like, oh, well, you learned something today. Oh, but we fed you though. Like, no, you would not work at that job if you just was like, oh, they fed me lunch. So it was cool.
Yeah.
And if you're doing that, it's a problem. Like, yeah, it's not an internship where it's like, oh, I'm learning things. Like, no, like you're an advertisement. Your page is an advertisement. So therefore you should be getting paid something.
I definitely agree. And it does. I always feel like it doesn't matter how big or small of a creator you are. If you're putting in the effort to go out and record content to promote it on your page, to speak highly of the business, you should definitely be compensated for it. But also at the same time, to your point, you should have some type of connection with that business. Like it should be someplace that you could see yourself going to after the review, or someplace you've been to before where you just want to highlight them. Like it shouldn't just be where it's like, oh, that the brand is paying creators. You want to just, get your hands in the game and try to see what you can get out of it, because it won't work like that.
Exactly. Yeah, everything that's on my page or in my stories, I've either been there before or I've been there more than once. Like there's never been a time, like I've gone like after reviewing them, I should say. But yeah, there's never been a time where I was like, oh yeah, let me just go check them out just because they're paying me. There's brands that have reached out to me, not so much restaurants, but more so like brands have reached out to me that were willing to pay me not a whole lot, but like a fair amount, just like, hey, you want to send you this product? We'll pay you to put it on your page. And I'm like, hey, I'm not going to like your product, so no, I'm sorry. Like, I'm not I'm not just going to get paid. I don't want to be paid just to promote your product if I'm not even going to spend my money on your stuff. Like, I'm not going to do that. Coffee Brains. Coffee Brains reach out to me like once a month. And I don't drink coffee. I'm like,
yeah, they're notorious for that. They are notorious for that, man.
Yeah, coffee and tea brands frequently reach out. And I'm like, look, you're going to pay me, but my review is not going to be authentic. I'm not going to spend my money on you. So therefore, I'm not going to review you. That's just my rule.
Yeah, I think that was actually one of the very first times I realized that you could actually say bad things about a brand if they pay you. Not going to say the name on the podcast because out of respect, it would be petty. But they offered me a brand deal for, it was a few $100s, and they wanted me to review their coffee. And no matter how much cream, sugar, caramel you put in this coffee, it tasted like straight up ass. And I told them in the review that it was not my cup of tea. I would not get it personally. But if you're somebody that likes bitter tea, coffee rather, then this is for you. And they, said thank you for your honest feedback. And then a couple of years after that, I saw some other content creators who actually had nothing but great things to say about the brand. So it led me to think: are y'all saying that because y'all getting paid, or did they change the formula or something? I doubt it highly, so I'm just going to say they did it to get paid because that was like one of the worst drinks I've had in my life.
Yeah, I've definitely seen some people post stuff before, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know you were into, this type of cuisine. It's usually some people that I will say that I can tell that there's some people that's also, you can tell they're trying to learn. Like, they're stepping outside their box and they're like, oh yeah, I went to this Afghani restaurant. I've never tried it before. I'm interested in trying it. Oh, okay, I learned about this spice. Oh, okay, I learned about, like they want to learn it. Like, they're learning along the way. And I can tell some people are just like doing it because they got paid. Like, oh yeah, look at this sandwich. Thanks, bye. I got paid.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this sandwich is really good. I don't know what this sauce is, but it's sweet. I like it. What's this? I think it's this. Or you can tell that they're trying. Like, even if they aren't fully aware of what they're eating, that they're trying to be like trying to like convey. Like, I don't know what this sauce is. I don't know how they made this, but it's good. You can just kind of tell. You can tell someone's doing it for the butt versus like they really are interested in the food.
Yeah. And I feel like that's a great way to build an authentic community because, people, me personally, I'm sick of seeing the videos where everything is a 10 out of 10. You don't eat. You see people not eating the food, and it's just like, did you even like the food, or are you just doing it for a video? And then you'll see people like yourself who are just, you're honest. You're going to say if you like something, you're going to say if you don't like something, but you're not going to sugarcoat if you don't like something, but at the same time, you're not going to completely knock it. You'll just say it's not your cup of tea and give a reason why. And I think we need more people like that.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. Yeah. And I get, there's so many 10 out of 10. Now, granted, I've had amazing meals, but like my 10 out of 10 will be somebody else's 7 out of 10, So because of that, I don't do the ratings. I just do like, hey, this was good. Like, my good might be 10, but for them, their good is like, oh, it was a 7. It's a 7, so it's still good, So I just say, get this. This is what I like because of this. I rarely will mention that I don't like something specifically on the like the paid collaborations, and that's because people will see or hear the negative about something and they will focus on that. Even if my negative is just saying I don't prefer this, because sometimes they'll just hear that and be like, oh, she ain't like something. I'm like, hey, but I like the other 4 things, Yeah, we're in a world where people hear the negative and keep running with it and stick with that narrative versus all the positive stuff.
Yeah, that's that's true. It's a good point.
Yeah.
So how long have you lived in the DMV? Have you lived there all your life or just recently?
I am a native. Yep. Born and raised. Born in DC because of the hospital. So I was born in DC, but I've been living in PG County my whole life.
Okay. Cool. So you've been familiar with, I guess, say the food scene all your life. Do you see it any differently back when you were growing up compared to now?
Oh, absolutely. the food scene now, and it's still it's grown and it's still growing. I really love where the food scene is going now. Even just for my own taste buds, like I said, I've been in the industry for 20 years. I learned stuff as I was going while I was working in the back of the house. So I'm still learning stuff just as a reviewer now. Like, oh, okay, like, like food trends. Like, what's the food trend now? What's anything like that. But yeah, definitely the food scene has definitely changed a lot in DC in a good way. One thing that I love about the food scene now is there's a lot of, well, I'm not vegan, right? I'm not vegan. I'm just greedy, right? I love that there's a lot more. I'm vegan. I love the amount of like plant-based stuff. Yeah, I'm being real. Yeah, I just love the amount of plant-based options that there are now. You would go to a restaurant and you had to like find a vegetable, right? And the vegetable was usually like, here's a Caesar salad, here's a kale salad. Like now, even with the salads aren't just Caesar and kale. Like maybe it is a Caesar, but the anchovies are whole, and maybe they're making the Caesar dressing tableside, and they're grilling the romaine versus just giving you chopped up lettuce. Like small things like that. Like I love that there are that combination of just like the standard dishes that's being amped up. Not just, oh, it tastes so much better, but it's like, oh, the process of making that dish. And I also love the amount of plant-based options for people that are not plant-based. People that are just like, I just need some vegetables with my meal, but I don't want it to just be some grilled asparagus and some sauteed spinach.
Yeah.
It's like fancy asparagus with the balsamic dressing and like it's not just cook it and go. Because that's boring. Vegetables are already kind of boring. So
yeah,
we eat because we got to. But in reality, vegetables are boring. So I love the transition of how vegetables now taste good, and then even how with plant-based restaurants they're taking these vegetables and it tastes much better in that form. What's one of the restaurants? It's a spot called Elizabeth's Gone Raw. It is a fine dining restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
That's downtown, and the entire menu is plant-based. Everything. And as I was eating it, when I had it, it was like a 5-course tasting menu. When I went in there, I knew, I was like, oh yeah, when I leave, we're gonna go to that chicken spot around the corner so we can get some protein. And I'm like, we left there, me and my homegirl, we were full and satisfied. We were like, we don't need nothing. Like we ate and we were satisfied. We did not miss protein at all. Like it was amazing. And I think I've been 3 times. No, I've been twice. Yeah, both times I went, I was like, chicken where? Steak? No, I'm good. I don't need no fish. I'm good. Just like this, So yeah, I would say that's what I love about the food scene in DC is the amount of plant-based options and just in general, like this might even be DC based, but how they're revamping these basic dishes.
First off, I will not confirm or deny that I haven't gone to a fine 5-star restaurant and been full and gotten chicken wings afterwards. I'm just saying, I wouldn't judge anybody who would.
Yeah,
but yeah, you gotta do it sometimes. But I definitely do agree with you when it comes to vegan food. And as a former religious carnivore, I'll say I wouldn't even think of the thought of eating plant-based food. And I think the reason why is because I think it's because of how the food industry, particularly the big business side of the food industry, like the ones who manufacture the products, like the store-bought burgers and products like that, they marketed a lot of Beyond Meat, and they're giving you this fake product and putting it out as, oh, vegans and vegetarians eat this. So when you see that, you're like, this doesn't appeal to me. This looks disgusting. Now, when you do something like, I'm thinking of a recent recipe that I made. It's not exactly fried chicken, but they call it vegan fried chicken. I took some lion's mane mushroom, fried it and battered it as if I would fried chicken, and then coated it in buffalo sauce. It doesn't taste like chicken, but it still has that same similar texture, and it's actually quite delicious. And I feel like that's what excites me about the food industry now is that we're seeing more chefs take chances in incorporating different ingredients inside of vegan food so it's more appealing. So you can go to a restaurant, get an entire vegan entree, appetizer, dessert, and be full.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. Vegan food used to definitely have a bad rep because it was just, in our minds, it was just steamed vegetables, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We just thought like, oh, broccoli. Yeah, that's what we thought. But no, vegan food is good, especially vegan desserts. There's people have a problem with vegan desserts, and I don't know why. I'm like, y'all, it's bread, chocolate. What's the problem? Vegan desserts are delicious.
There's this restaurant in the DMV. I forgot what the name of it was. It was during one of my trips. I went to Arlington, and I made a stop there. They make vegan cinnamon rolls, I want to say. I had to think of the name.
You said it was in Virginia or was it in DC?
It was in Virginia.
Oh. I'm trying to think of what bakeries a vegan cinnamon roll. Because there's a couple of vegan bakeries that I'm thinking about, but one of them is in DC, so it wouldn't have been that one.
But this one,
let me know because I want to try it.
Yeah, I gotta get the name and get back to you. But I definitely remember going in there. I didn't even realize it was a vegan restaurant. I was just looking for a place that was open. Didn't even see the sign really. Got 2 cookies. I got a cinnamon roll and a apple pie cinnamon roll. And I took a bite of the apple pie cinnamon roll, and it just blew me away. And then when the cashier came out, and he was like, "Oh, I'm glad you like the cinnamon roll. Not too many people realize that it's vegan." And I'm like, "Wait, I didn't know it was vegan." And like, it really caught me off guard. Like people sleep on vegan food. It's actually quite good.
It's good. Yeah, it's good. I need to have a day where I just eat plant-based, but the way my life is set up, it don't be happening.
Yeah, like I can do vegan light, like, you know, a mini vegan. I can do like maybe like a couple days a week, but you know, until it completely gets out of my system, I do kind of like my chicken wings and steak. Period.
Exactly that. That's my cleanse. But let me eat plant-based for one meal this week, because I'll be eating like crap all week. Oh, plant-based dinner! Woo! I'm healthy. That's what I tell myself. Yeah.
If it works for you, it works for you. You know.
Exactly that.
So let me ask you, since you do a lot of content creation where you focus on restaurants and, you know, you go out to places to eat, do you do a lot of cooking?
Not as much as I used to.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely miss a good home cooked meal. The last time I cooked was Mother's Day. The only reason I cooked on Mother's Day was because my mom was like, "Hey, I want this for Mother's Day." If it wasn't for that, I don't know if I would have cooked again. Because before that, it had to have been maybe, I was like, I cook like a good meal, maybe like once every like month and a half. Other than that, it'll be something quick, like some pasta, something real simple. Like I'll always have pasta in my cabinet. I'll just like cook that with maybe some leftover protein from a spot that I went to. Maybe I had some like leftover brisket or some grilled chicken, and I'll just take that and just put that into the pasta, like repurpose it that way. What else do I do? Excuse me. Ramen. That's been my thing. I always have ramen in the cabinet. I'll just get some miso paste or some like chicken broth, pork broth, whatever. Add the soy sauce, add some fish sauce, you know, make it taste good. Do a soft boiled egg, get some scallions, you know.
See, you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing.
A little chili oil, so like I'm at a restaurant. Chili oil.
Gotta spice it up.
Chili oil, put my little spinach in there before I go bad, you know, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's usually my cooking. If I do cook something, it's usually something pasta related, because that's you can build off of anything with that. It could just be cream pasta, butter pasta, tomato sauce pasta, whatever. Just
yeah.
Super simple. But no, it's been a while since I had, other than Mother's Day, that I tore that food up. Oh my God. Turkey wings, smothered turkey wings, mac and cheese, candy yams, and string beans. Me and my sister tag teamed on that meal. But yeah, we tore that up. Oh my God. It was so good.
All right. Sound like you could throw down. Okay, I respect it.
I know how I could. Yeah, I know how I could. It's been a while. Mm-hmm. But I know what I'm doing.
It's like a bike. You never forget.
See, y'all be saying that, but it's been a while since I've been on a bike, and I'm afraid because I'm clumsy. Mm-hmm. So what will happen if I really do get on the bike? It's been like 20-something years. Maybe not that long. At least 15 years since I've been on the bike. So I'll see one day. If I fall, it's your fault because you told me.
I'll just edit that out.
Okay, yeah. I respect that.
You know what's so funny when like you start talking about something else and then something randomly triggers something you were thinking about? I just remember the name of that restaurant.
Ooh.
It was called Cinnaholic.
Cinnaholic. I think I've heard of that. That was Arlington or Alexandria? That was Arlington?
Yeah, it might have been Alexandria. Yeah. Okay,
yeah, I've heard of that before. Yeah, I don't go to Alexandria that much. That's a random thing for me. I'm more in DC and Arlington. Every now and then I'm in Alexandria, but yeah, DC and Arlington is like my go-tos when it comes to dining out. Mm-hmm. Cinnaholic. Okay, there you go. I'm glad you remember.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend that. Like, I'm planning on going to the DMV in a couple of months for a business trip, so I'm definitely going to make that a stop.
Oh, yes, definitely do that. Yeah, let me know when you're out here.
Definitely. Because I'm trying to. That actually leads me to my next question, so I am glad that you brought that up. One of the things that I speak heavily on in my podcast, and just not even just content creation, just me as people know me on a personal level. I love networking with people. I love building communities, especially as Black creatives. I feel like whether we're doing content creation, whether we're doing cooking recipes as content creation, whether we're reviewing food, whether we're doing lifestyle creation, us having that connection with each other helps build these networks that allows us to grow on social media. Yeah. Being that the DMV is such a competitive space, but it's also, from what I've witnessed, it's a very collaborative space. How do you feel your experiences have been with networking amongst the fellow content creators in your area?
It's been wonderful for me. When it comes to the DMV creator scene, while I can't speak on the lifestyle scene, let me move this cat because she's trying to. Hold on. Dora, you can't jump on the table. I'm doing a podcast. Okay.
Hi, Dora.
Right. She's just like, we doing a podcast? Let's go. But I can't really speak on like the lifestyle creators or like the travel creators. But I would say as far as the food scene goes, it's a big network, but we still know how to collab. Like I'm still, of course, meeting different creators, and even if I don't know their name, it's always that IG handle, like, oh yeah, right, oh yeah. Like, networking is super important. It's very, very important. Like, it's, again, content creation is a job. So just like how you want to do some networking at your full-time or your part-time job, you got to do it with content creation. So yeah, I love the DMV content creation network, and I especially love the DMV food content creation when it comes to the sisters, because we deep. Mm-hmm. We deep. It's a lot of us. It's a lot of us. But yeah, I definitely love, like, it's because I'm in a group chat with a few creators. There's probably like 10 of us that's food creators, and I just love that we're able to be transparent. Excuse me. Transparent about stuff like, hey, I got a question about how I should adjust my race. Like, hey, has a brand ever reached out to you and said XYZ? this brand did this and then didn't do this in return. How should I handle it? So I definitely love that we're all like, it's not a gatekeeping thing. Like, I would never go onto my page and say like, hey, this is how much I get paid. This is what I charge. Like, I won't go that far. But if somebody reached out to me and said, hey, Crystal, I need some help. What should I charge? What do you charge? Oh, okay, maybe I should charge more or something like that. Like, I have no problem. I'm not that type of gatekeeper. I'm here to elevate everybody together. Like, we all got to win. And not just that, but like to piggyback off of what you were saying, or what the point that we had touched maybe like 15 minutes ago about, getting paid for the work. If everybody collectively works together and is like, oh yeah, you know what, I should be getting paid for this thing, because there are some creators that don't realize that they should be getting paid, or maybe they're too afraid to ask for money. That's a very big thing. They feel like they're not worth getting paid, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone's worth getting paid, like you're working, right? So it's definitely good to just be in that community with, creators that have been in it for 2, 3, 4 years, and then creators that just started, or maybe are like 1 year in and they're ready for that transition to really start getting paid more. Transparency is super important. And yeah, I just noticed that as far as like the food creator community in the DMV, we're pretty transparent about stuff with each other. Like we'll talk. I haven't come across a creator that I've asked something for like advice and they just brush me off. That has not happened. And I'm hoping that there is any creator that is like that, because that's kind of rude. Like, I'm not here to take your spot. I'm just asking for advice. We can work together.
Yeah,
I love our little tight knit, but a big tight knit community that we have.
I'll definitely say when I started in the game 4 years ago, it wasn't as many, but it was like a selective small group of people who were very big on gatekeeping information. Like you would ask them a simple question like, "Oh, what program do you use to edit?" And they wouldn't respond to you, and they kind of kept themselves in like this cliquish mentality. And over time, a lot of creators started to expose people like that. So thankfully now, from what I'm seeing, you may hear like a rarity, and it's usually not that as big as it was a few years back. But I feel like there's more community now within content creators because everybody's going through the same thing. We're all trying to, make this our lifestyle, make it to where we can do it and get paid and compensated well. But if brands are, continuously using people who are perfectly fine with, let's say we want you to do 4 videos in exchange for this can of pickles. As long as people see they're getting exposure, they're going to do it. And we have to let them know, it's cool if you're trying to get exposure, but if you put in the amount of effort into making videos, and like you said before, it's a form of advertising. They have the budget to do so. They're going to get paid off the advertising. So if they're getting paid off of it, so should you.
Exactly that. Yep. That person that sent you that email saying, hey, can you promote our pickles? They got paid to send that pickle email.
Mm-hmm.
Why was pickles the thing that you decided to do? Why was that pickles? You could have said coffee. You talking about coffee?
I don't know.
Pickles, draw pickles. I wish somebody would reach out to me for some damn pickles. They're like, get in my face.
You'd be surprised. I've had people reach out to me for pickles, for hot sauce. Somebody wanted me to promote the spatula they had. Then like, no. Yeah. You see a lot of it. Okay. I've definitely turned down my fair share of brands for either not getting compensated properly for it or because it didn't align with the values I have of my brand. But yeah, some of these brands are bold out here.
Yeah.
Especially the bigger ones. Like I feel like for the smaller brands, I give them more flexibility because at the end of the day, we're all trying to grow and your business may not, make enough money and you probably think social media should be a way to do business. You still should compensate the creator, but at the same time, I give you flexibility. But when you have the brands that are like in grocery stores, the brands that you see commercials for in the Super Bowl, when they're talking about, hey, we want a 3-video series and we want to pay you $200 and not gonna say pickles, a pack of soda or something. Then it's like you have the budget. You have money in a Super Bowl commercial. You can afford to pay me more than what you're offering.
Woo, that is so real. Let me go look at who promoted on the Super Bowl. Doritos. I'm gonna reach out to the Dorito brand and be like, "You got it, pay me." I know you got it. But no, you're right though. Yeah, like when it comes to these smaller brands, especially with restaurants, you know, they do have a budget, right? Some restaurants have bigger ones than the smaller ones, but everybody does have some money somewhere to pay the creators. They do just kind of see what they can get away with at first. But also some restaurants don't realize, again, this marketing with social media is still a new thing. I feel like in 5 years, we are not going to have the same conversation, right? I just feel like the marketing as far as social media goes is still a new thing where there's some businesses that are not realizing like, this is an advertisement. They don't see it as that. So to them, it's like, oh yeah, here's some free food. Just make it look cute. If you want to make it look cute, you can do it yourself for free. Like, you know, give that person something more than just like a sandwich. You know, things like that. Yeah, I know in 5 years, this is not going to be a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a conversation, it's going to be, oh, why are these few brands still not understanding? Right? It'll be like a one-off thing. Like, oh yeah, this brand reached out and didn't want to pay me, but it's fine because I got 7 more lined up. Versus the other way around, like I reached out to 7 and only 1 agreed. That's where we are right now.
And it's interesting to think too, and I just thought about it, when a company wants to hire somebody for a commercial, they pay a separate editor, they pay the actor or actress in the film, they pay somebody to actually record, they pay somebody to proofread it, they pay somebody to come up with the script, they pay somebody to put it out there on television, and you're getting all of that with content creators. You have the budget for it, you're just being cheap.
Exactly that. Can be cheap. I mean, you got to balance your money. That's cool. But sometimes you got to realize if you want your name out there, you got to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be like, I'm going to put my name in the newspaper. People don't read newspapers like that no more. They don't. We all on our phones. We are all on our phones. Everybody. There's people's grandmas that are in their phones looking at advertisements. So that's just, yeah, businesses. I'm so grateful for the businesses that understand that. Like there's so many brands that understand like, yeah, I mean, when you come out, we're going to pay you. What's your rate? Like, oh, it's this. Like, oh, we got it. Come on out. Like there's no, oh, we don't have it. So it's just like, no, we get what's going on. Come through. What you want? All right, we got it. Yeah. Okay, knock it down $25. Oh yeah, no problem. I got you. Like something like that. Like because they understand that they are reaching out to a creator for a reason because they know that creator is worth their time and deserves to be compensated in some type of fashion. Even if they're like, I can't meet the compensation that they're asking for, I still want to compensate them something. Those are the restaurants that I appreciate and love working with because they understand that time is money, money is time. This is an ad. We're trying to bring more people in here, so I'll pay you a little bit more to hopefully get this money back in a day or two. You're my temporary employee. Things like that. It's a temporary employee. You're a contract work. You're my contractor for the day.
Start paying that money, brand. If you're listening to this podcast, and if you are, start paying these creators the money they deserve.
Yeah. Yeah. Just you got something. You got something to get the creators. Something.
So this might be a tricky question, but what would you say would be your favorite top 3 restaurants that you've been to so far as a content creator?
Ooh, that is a tough one.
And this is also me personally getting some recommendations. So please.
I feel you. Damn, that is a tough one. Because there's so many places that I just love in general. Like I get asked this question pretty often, from like people from out of town. Like, oh, I've been following you for a while. What's your top 3 that I had to go to. And I'm like, girl, I don't even know. Like, it depends on what your taste buds are, what kind of budget you have, what part of town are you staying in? Are you trying to stick with like a certain type of cuisine? You want to just grab and go? You trying to look cute at dinner? You know, things like that. I would say, like, there's one restaurant that I recommend to anybody and everybody that asks me as far as like, oh, what do you recommend? And it is called Unconventional Diner. It is over by the convention center. They received a Michelin star, I want to say maybe like 2 or 3 years in a row. So the name is misleading because there's the word diner in it. But what they do is they take like diner classics and just like make it sexy, right? So they got meatloaf, but it's not just like meatloaf with the ketchup on top. Like they make the meatloaf good and the mashed potatoes are whipped properly, or they got chicken parmesan, but chicken parmesan is stuffed, or what else do they have? They have a bunch of stuff there, and they have brunch every day until 4. They don't have bottomless mimosas. It's not that type of spot, right? Are they open every day? Yeah, they're open every day. Brunch every day until 4. And that menu has something on there for everybody. So if you're like, I want to keep it simple, I'm just very basic. Or if you're like, oh, what's in that shashuka? Oh yeah, let me get that. That's interesting, you know. And anything in between, like, oh, let me explore, but also get something that I'm comfortable with. And they got a carrot cake that got like 10 layers and it's this tall. But it's like a sexy slice of carrot cake. You know, like, just think of what like a regular diner item might be, and then they had that in there.
Yeah.
But they got really good fried chicken too. They got fried chicken and biscuits. So good. So good. So good.
Yeah, I'm looking at the menu right now. I'm already trying to see if I can get a little reservation here.
Yeah, you will get Unconventional Diner. You will not be disappointed in that spot. Like, think of something that you like to eat, find it on that menu, and then order that.
Do kind of find it funny that I think that they're listening to our conversation because I typed in the word "you," well, not the word "you," obviously the letter "U" into Google, and that was the first thing that popped up.
The fans watching. The fans watching.
Whatever they see, it wasn't me.
They need to stop playing with us. What is technology? Okay, there we go. I can breathe again. Yeah.
That's good.
Okay.
Allergies.
Yeah, these allergies is terrible out here. Bad.
Let me stop looking at this menu. I'm already the next trip.
Forgot what we was just last. The feds are listening to our conversation. Yeah. Oh yeah, foreign restaurants. Yeah. Yeah, honestly, I don't have a favorite restaurant. I don't. I don't have a favorite. My problem is, you know how there's always just like that running joke when it comes to women, and like when the boyfriend or husband says, "Oh, where do you want to go?" and then the woman says, "Oh, you pick, I don't care," but then the girls are being picky about what the husband or boyfriend picks. For me, I don't care because I like everything. So for me, it's like, oh, I can't decide what I want. It's because I like too many things. So it's really just, what am I in the mood for at that moment? That's what I like. I like too many things. So every type of cuisine that you can think of is, I'm eat. I love my food.
You're actually the first woman that I've heard that actually answered that question honestly. They never give us a reason as to why they can't decide what they want to eat. I never get it.
No, literally, it's like, no, you pick something. Like, I'll tell you what I don't like. Hey, like, don't give me no beets, don't give me no peas, don't give me no coconut. Other than that, like, hey, you pick a restaurant. Oh, I picked this Thai spot. Okay, cool. Let me look at the menu. All right, I'm gonna get that. I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm not in the mood for Thai. I'm like, oh, cool, great, food, menu, great. Let's get these 5 things. Yeah, I'm not picky. I'm just feed me, and I'm good.
I need to ask my fellow Black people that question. Is it something about peas that we just don't like? Like, we'll eat every other vegetable, carrots, collard greens, cauliflower, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, but put peas in our face and it's like, nah, I don't want it.
They though. They actually are nasty. They're like little balls of like green dirt. They taste like little green dirt balls.
Yeah.
I don't even know who was like, let's make this plant. Like, where did peas come from? I don't know. They should have just stayed. They need to go extinct. They got to go extinct.
Yeah, going extinct is wild.
Yeah. And always get asked like, "Oh, Crystal, just try it again. I'm sure you'll like it." I'm like, I've tried it plenty of times and I still hate it. Like, I'm like a little kid. Like, if I get like fried rice or something and I see peas in it, I'll take a minute and just pick all the peas out. So I ain't gotta stop every bite. I'm like, and then I'll eat my rice.
I mean, I don't mind them in peas as much, but I mean peas. I don't mind them in rice and fried rice as much. But if it's just like, yeah, give me a side of peas, like, what am I supposed to do with this?
Yeah, that's just. I'm like, who was like, you know what? We're gonna put a whole bunch of peas in a bowl with some butter or something like that. Like,
I ain't that hungry.
It taste better. That's the thing. The butter makes it taste better, and it still tastes like little green dirt balls. So what does that mean about peas in general?
They're just terrible.
They're just like, why? And if you're listening to this and you like peas, let me know so I can block you back.
Someone is going to listen to this podcast and comment, my grandmother used to make me peas, and I don't care. They're still nasty.
Yeah.
Nothing she did made them taste good. She probably didn't like them herself.
She ate them because I had to. That's why. Yeah, I had no choice.
Basically.
Had no choice. That's why you ate the peas.
Well, it's definitely been a pleasure to have you on this podcast, Crystal. Before we wrap it up, I just want to ask you, two questions. First question is, any special projects or anything that you're going to be involved in that our listeners can view and support?
Yes. So there is 2 projects that I'm doing. So yes, if you're based in the DMV area, there's 2 things I'm doing. So I am doing a partnership with DC United and another company called Intentionalist, where we are highlighting diverse businesses in the area. We're highlighting diverse businesses in the area. So DC United has donated $500 to 17 businesses that's participating so that those businesses can give their customers discounts. In order to get that discount, you do have to go onto the Intentionalist website, and I have that link in my bio as well. So you go to the website, you just sign up, put your email. It costs nothing. You just have to put your email, and you'll get the list of all the discounts so that you're able to redeem that in person. So it's really good discounts. Like if you spend $25 at one place, you'll get like $15 off. Or if you go somewhere and spend $10, you'll get $7 off. I guess it's a pretty good discount. It's a pretty good discount. So that's one project. And the other project, super fun one, and I encourage everybody, if you like to drink good cocktails, all right, or you just like beer, or you like wine, things like that. So it is called The Guide to Imbibe. So it is essentially a drinking passport. Like it looks like a passport. So in that book we have 2 books. We have one that is DMV based on like restaurants, bars, speakeasies. Then we have one that is winery based in the Nova area. So wineries, distilleries, breweries, things like that. So each book has, the Virginia one I think has like 40 wineries and distilleries. Mm-hmm. The DMV book that's like restaurants and bars has, I think we have 75 in there. So how it works is any of those participating businesses, there will be a discount in there for 2-for-1 drinks. Mm-hmm. Some of them have specific drinks, or some of them are like any of our signature cocktails, like things like that. So you're able to look onto the website also and see all the businesses that's participating in that. And the only way to redeem that deal, you do have to buy the booklet, and each booklet is $35. My cats are fighting. Each book is $35. So essentially you're paying for, well, DC price drinks are expensive. So essentially you're paying for like 2 or 3 drinks, and you'll make your money back when you redeem it 3 times. And you'll get like an actual stamp. So we stamp the book as a redemption like it is a passport. Like, oh, I went to this restaurant. Stamp it. Super fun.
And what are the dates for these again?
It's called The Guide to Imbibe, and it starts. It actually starts this week, Memorial Weekend. It'll start. And it'll run through the end of the year. So it gives everybody time to really like take their time and explore. Like a lot of people bought it for like their like a date night type of thing. Like, oh, let's go to date night. We go out every other week. We got the book. It's our way to go to a new restaurant and try a signature cocktail, or even go to a restaurant you've been to before and maybe try something different. But then also while you're there, of course, like, you know, get an appetizer or an entree or something like that. But yeah, it's super fun. Super fun project. Both projects are super fun.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to take a look into that. I love to go to drinking, and I love different types of drinks, not just, you know, the standard, like, you know, Jack and Coke or whatever, but I like to be adventurous when it comes to my alcoholic beverages. So that sounds like something to do.
Yeah, that's what that's for, is to be a little bit more adventurous, you know, like get the Aperol Spritz, try that out, or get the Highball, or try their signature wine that they make in-house, you know, things like that. It's a good way to really, like, it's not meant for like, oh, let me get a Henny on the rocks. Like, it ain't that. You can do that at home, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
The Henny on the rocks book, it's a cocktail book. Or again, for the other book for the Nova area, it's a winery book, which is perfect because, you know, you can go to, I don't know if you know that, like in the Nova area, like it's like further out in Virginia, there's dozens of wineries, and I'm don't quote me on this. I'm gonna say it's like one of the biggest, like condensed wise, has the most amount of wineries in the country. If it's not, it's like second to like Cali or something like that. Because, you know, Cali wine, you know, that's the thing also. So yeah, like people will go out to the Nova area and go to 2 or 3 wineries in a day. It's just a thing that we do out here. Like this, like instead of bar hopping, winery hop. It's exactly that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take a visit and go get some wine. I think the only winery I've ever been to in DC was District Winery, but yeah, it'd be nice to go try something different and get a different experience out there. So that's cool.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, so those are my 2 projects that I'm consistently working on, and I'm like, this is fun.
Well, we'll definitely be there to support you. We're definitely glad that you came on the podcast. Any last words for our audience?
Ooh, what is my last word? Two last words. Follow me on Instagram, The Skinny Food Whore. That is the skinny with an I, and it's okay if you say food whore. I did it on purpose. That's on my Instagram and TikTok. And other than that, if you're listening to this and you're a creator, get paid. Get paid. You want to DM me and ask me how much you probably should be getting paid. You just want some guidance. I can give you that guidance. I can't give you an answer, but I can definitely give you that guidance that you need.
Well said. And thank you so much for not gatekeeping information and being a creator that not only influences us, but also wants to pay that forward. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's always a beautiful thing to see our people grow in these spaces. And I get excited to know that as these spaces get bigger and bigger, we can be proud that we've actually had an influence in that. So thank you so much for joining us on this podcast. You know, the door is always open for you to come back if you want to be a future guest again. We'd love to have you.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. You know, I'm down. I love talking about food and work. Food is like my whole life for real. This is what I love food. Food is my self-care and my job. That's how much I love it. Yeah.
Oh, and before I forget, I did tell her that I would do this too. Wanted to give my condolences to Lightning Bug. RIP, little homie.
Glow. Yeah.
You deserve to die that way, but
my house the other day. I thought it was I don't know why I thought it was. I just saw something with legs on the ceiling. I said, nope. I just saw his whole butt lighting up. It's like, lightning bug. I said lightning bug, and oh Lord. You're gonna go with me because of me.
We'll pour 40 for the homie later on.
Yeah, little glow, RIP.
Oh, thank you all for joining us today on this podcast. Please make sure that you subscribe. Make sure you're following Crystal on all her social media channels. Make sure you support those events. You know, we definitely want to make sure we support our own. I'll make sure that I put the links in the description below. And remember, at Chef Pat Lee's table, as long as you'll have me share my passion with you, you'll always have a seat. Love you all. Thank you for watching. And until the next time we feast, peace.
Bye.